Hi, everybody. Welcome. It's Atomic Radio Hour time. I'm your host, Vince. I'm also here with...
Out of this world host, Olive.
And we're joined by a guest today. Would you like to introduce yourself, sir?
I'm Tomatoanus.
That's a lovely name. I'd really love to hear the origin stories, Mr. Anus.
Ooh,
Have
maybe
you told
later.
the origin?
Maybe later.
Okay.
We can't just dive into the deep end.
Yeah. Let's ease in. A little pinky toe first.
Exactly. Adjust to the water.
How's everybody been? Anything new going on with anybody?
Not really. I'm actually having a pretty decent week.
That's nice. How about you, Tommy?
Good. I'm existing. So can't complain too much.
Yeah.
Oh, something interesting did happen to me.
Okay.
I got vaccinated.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah. The deep state put 5G in my bones. So, if you want my Wi-Fi password, if you want my 5G Wi-Fi password, just let me know.
Yes. Would you like to tell the fine folks at home a little bit about yourself, Senior Anus? Can I refer to you as Senior Anus? Is that cool?
Sure. Only you. Olive. I don't know. You maybe Mr. Anus from you, Sir Anus.
Sir Anus.
Okay.
Knighted by the Queen.
Ooh, I like that. But no, call me whatever. So, intro to myself. I'm Tomatoanus. I run a YouTube channel named Tomatoanus, the Tomatoanus brand, and mostly focus on speedruns as a whole nowadays. But started with Fallout speedruns. Started speedrunning Fallout itself in January of 2017, so a little over 4 years now. And just kind of slowly started with Fallout speedrunning content, and it's just slowly transitioned to speedrun content as a whole, but still Fallout a good amount. So,
what was the first speedrun that got you into it?
Oh, loaded question. I guess there's two answers to that. So,
okay,
because I've been watching speedruns since 2011, and like I watched them pretty avidly from 2011 to 2014, and I was really big into like Siglemic doing SM64 and Narcissa Wright doing Ocarina of Time and Wind Waker. So like getting into speedrunning as a whole back then were those two doing those speedruns. And then in 2017, I was watching AGDQ, and the run that pushed me over the edge to actually start doing it myself was TGH doing an Undertale run as the finale of AGDQ that year. Yeah, that's just such a wholesome run. Can't recommend watching that enough. So after that, I was like, all right, I got to give this a shot myself. So then started with Fallout 4 Any Percent. And to this day, it's my favorite speedrun that I do. So Fallout 4 Any Percent is the one that really got me hooked.
Do you speedrun, like, if you're just at home, like, not recording, like, I got 35 minutes, I could beat 4 games? Like, are you just... Is it a recreational thing for you, or is it now, like, you're just honing a skill?
I don't really do it, like, off stream and stuff like that. Like, when I'm playing games by myself, I barely play games that, like, are single-player beatable that you would speedrun. I'm, like, a big Bloons type person and stuff like that. So you don't really speedrun tower defenses
Cool.
like that. But like off stream, I mostly will like play I'm really slow with games. I'll check every corner. So a lot of people don't expect that, but no, I mostly will just
Fallout.
Stream, just do speedruns on stream and stuff like that. And like Fallouts, I don't really play unless I'm speedrunning right now. So,
All right, so hopefully some of that was salvageable. If I edited this the way I think I'm going to edit it, there should have been a screen saying that we messed up a little bit, but...
And if not, I'm your Out of This World host, Olive, and I'm here about 10 minutes late. Welcome to Mr. Anus, Sir Anus.
Thank you.
And Tomato if I'm nasty.
So before that happened, what I normally like to do whenever we have a guest on is just to get everybody kind of familiar, get everybody marinating in the same kind of brain space. I just have a list of questions, the rapid fire questions. You could answer them as fast or as slow as you want. If you don't like the question, you could say next and we can just skip it. You cool?
Yeah, I'm cool.
Okay. So first off is your name.
Tomatoanus.
Your age.
25.
Your favorite Fallout and why?
Casually is New Vegas, just because it's like Nice game to, like you said, marinate. It's a good game to marinate with.
It's the best game. It's the best Fallout game.
And then to speedrun Fallout 4.
Okay. What's your middle initial?
J. It's Tomato J Anus.
What does the J stand for?
So I used to play a lot of Dota. And when you play on the US servers, typically there's a lot of Peruvians in it. Whenever they kill you, they go ja 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 in chat. So it's Tomato ja 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 anus.
That's a very multi-denominational name, and I really like it.
Yeah. Culture.
There's a lot of dimensions. Culture. Yeah.
What's your top 5 albums of all time?
Oh fuck.
Hell yeah, we're getting into it early.
Let me come back to that.
Sure. Do you still write in cursive?
No, only when signing Tomato J Anus on my checks and stuff.
I love the idea of like your driver's license, the dog. Like, what's your favorite word?
I really like unequivocable.
Ooh. Okay. What's your least favorite word?
Ooh, I don't know. Probably like edgelord.
Iced tea or lemonade?
Lemonade.
Man of culture. Voice protagonist, bad idea or worst idea ever?
I'm going to say bad idea.
Really?
I think that, yeah.
Thank you.
I think that there are worse things they could have done, but
like what?
it's like, what if like instead of having a voice protagonist, they didn't speak directly, and instead they just wrote down everything and then held it up to Codsworth and he read your lines. Like you were more of a scribe. Like I think that would be worst idea.
You see, I think a great idea would have been if they communicated in ASL. That would be really cool. And it was like
that'd
translated.
be really interesting.
Yeah.
Have there been any games that have I was going to ask if there were any games that like use ASL. Doesn't the new Spider-Man have a character that
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Which one?
Yeah, and Miles knows ASL in the new Spider-Man.
Really?
Yeah, there's a really, really cool scene of someone coming up to him and being like, hey, like, you're Spider-Man. And he's like, yeah, I'm Spider-Man, bro. And it's just like entirely silent and they're just like talking in ASL. And it was really cool because I took about 2 years of ASL and being able to like see like the excitement that they showed on the character's face that like their superhero knew how to communicate with them. It was really, really special.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's really that's one of the reasons why Spider-Man is just like the best no matter who it is. Just like they're such a good
Spider-Man
dude
rocks.
and like connect with people like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Where was I? Okay, first or earliest memory?
My earliest memory was walking across my living room to our dog at the time, Kalijah, and petting him on the head.
Aw.
Why don't they ever want to talk about it?
Who knows?
What's your... I feel like I already asked this in a sense, but what's your favorite... Did I already ask this? Did I already write this down?
Yeah, you already did.
Wow, okay. Look at me. Top 5 movies of all time?
My favorite movies are like John Carpenter's The Thing.
No Country for... dude.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah.
No Country for Old Men. Hereditary. I really like Cabin in the Woods. That's a bit of a guilty pleasure one. That's one of my favorites. And a fifth one, I don't know, that's tough. Maybe like Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
I've never even heard of that.
I've never heard of that.
Oh, do yourself a favor and watch it. It's so good. It came out 2019. And so the way that Oscars work for international films is pretty much each country, their Academy Awards nominate one of their own films to be up for Best Foreign Film. And France for 2019, they nominated the movie Les Miserables, however it's pronounced, the Les Mis, but it's about like police brutality and stuff. But I'm convinced, I don't know why they didn't pick Portrait of a Lady on Fire. I'm convinced if they had done that, I think it could have beaten Parasite. It's so good. Yeah, it's.
I didn't see Parasite.
It's a period, like Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
It has a 95 Metascore.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
This looks pretty good.
It's incredible.
What is it on? What can I watch it on?
I don't know. I'm just looking on IMDb.
All right, what else do we have here? What simple joy makes you the most happy?
when you go to wash your hands and your hands just dry like perfectly really quickly. Like, you know, like sometimes like you wipe your hands dry and you're like, it's still a little wet. Sometimes when you wipe it and it's just like, wow, that was a real nice wipe. Don't take that out of context.
Can I add my 2 cents to this one?
Sure.
Because I've got a very similar thing that I really like that, where if I'm washing my hands, and like, of course I'm using soap because of like being a cleanly person.
Of course.
I hate when the soap dries out my hands and I feel like I've just got like sandpaper hands.
Well, no,
like,
that's because of the vaccine. Now you're going to become a Jewish space lizard. Yeah.
Oh, damn, you're right.
What else do we have here? What do you record and or edit in?
I record audio with Audacity, and like any video stuff I'll use OBS. And then I also like, I guess for camera stuff I have a old like I have like a Lumix Panasonic camera to film, like if I'm actually filming with something, which is rare. But then I edit using Vegas, like 2016 or something, which I bought for $20 on Humble Bundle when I was in college.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
I've been trying to make the jump to Adobe Premiere, but it's so intimidating.
You got to take the jump to DaVinci Resolve.
Oh, God.
It's free.
Really? Is it good?
It's free, yeah.
Yeah, I love it. It's what we edit everything in. It's free, and if you want to buy it, there's a bunch of like other stuff and plugins and whatnot for it, but I love it.
Interesting. I'm not super familiar with it.
It definitely uses a lot of the conventions that Premiere uses. I just kind of like the way that the workflow is a little bit better, and also the color correction tools are second to none.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know you knew about color correction.
Yeah, I mean, one of my best friends is doing color science, so...
You're right. What did your grandma's house smell like?
Her dogs. Well, one of my grandmas, her house smells like her dog. The other grandma, her house smells like her cats. So...
Cool. What is your favorite Nicktoon and why?
I'm a big Rugrats guy.
Hell yeah. How do you feel about the
Rugrats
Rugrats?
guy.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the new Rugrats, though?
So I don't know too much about it. I just heard that there's a new thing happening with them, so.
There's a teaser out. It feels like Rugrats, like just from the 30 seconds they show. Mm-hmm. But I'm pretty sure the voice actor for Chucky, she died.
Okay.
And they got someone who sounds like Chucky, but like I can almost tell that it's an impersonation.
Mm-hmm.
But it feels
like a little
very
bit
Rugrats.
uncanny.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I'll have to check that out. I just recently, I think it was like 2 nights ago, I learned that in the Rugrats series, Tommy's mom and dad are like 31 and 32. And that threw me for a loop.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
That threw
Dude,
me
it's the
for,
hair.
The
hair throws you off.
I know. I was like, I don't know, like growing up, I'm like, oh, they're so old. And like you hold on to that belief growing up where if like you had to ask me, I'd be like, I'm probably like early 50s, but they have like toddlers. So I guess it makes sense that they're 31, 32.
I have a feeling this one's going to like strike a nerve, and I want to apologize in advance, but deep dish Chicago pizza, slop or garbage slop?
I'm not answering that.
Okay.
That is a blasphemous question right there.
Wait. Are you pro Chicago style pizza?
Fuck. Sorry, are we doing swearing?
Yeah, you can swear. It's cool.
We can say the fuck word.
Oh my God. I'm a Chicago boy at heart. I love deep dish. Oh my God. Like,
I'm so sorry that you've never had like good pizza.
oh, I have had good pizza. Okay, so let me clear up this misconception. Many people are like, wow, you're from Chicago and you like deep dish? You must have that every time you have pizza. How do you just eat that bowl of soupy tomato juice every time you eat pizza? It's like, no. Deep dish is for special occasions. You have it 3 times a year tops. Like, you don't have it too often. Thin crust, so many good thin crust places. Had thin crust for dinner last night and tonight and lunch tomorrow. So thin crust is the go-to.
I can fuck with some thin crust right now.
Yeah.
All I'm going to say is Chuck E. Cheese does not serve deep dish. That's all I'm going to say.
You're right. I mean, because they have
Charles
the Frankenstein
Entertainment
pizza.
Cheese.
What else? Where do you find inspiration? And that doesn't just have to be for videos. That could be anything.
I would say like overall my biggest inspiration creatively is Bo Burnham.
Okay.
Like
Nice.
growing up, he was the person that I watched the most, and just that type of humor and the thought that goes into his stuff really resonates with me. So that like anything creative, I've always kind of thought to him for inspiration. But no, I don't know. That's a good question. Everyday life, it's hard to think of things that inspire me. I'm kind of person that just tries to plow through it one day at a time.
What's your favorite Bo Burnham joke?
Oh, that's tough. So I think that my favorite one is one that probably not a lot of people have seen. So he had a show on MTV called Zach's Zone is Gonna Be Famous. Mm-hmm. Have either of you seen it or heard of it?
I remember it. I remember it having like 8 episodes, and then he started tweeting it like Pizza Hut if he can get a job or something.
Yeah,
he tweeted a bunch. Yeah,
they did. It was 12 episodes. It was one season. It was like in 2013 or 14. And the premise of the show is he plays Zach Stone, who's a kid who just graduated from. Bless you. Sorry, my girlfriend's sitting in the room. She just sneezed. The premise of the show is he just graduated from college, and he wants to be famous. That's his goal. So he spends all of his college savings on a film crew to follow him around and like record him so he can become the next big hit. And in I think it's like the first episode, this clip's on YouTube so you can easily find it, but like he annoys his brother or whatever, and then it just does like a smash cut to him running down the stairs. He goes, hanging with Zach, and then he jumps to slide down the railing, and he jumps on it, and the railing just breaks and he falls down the stairs, and it's so quick. It's like a 5-second gag, but it's just like so it's so good.
That sounds really fun.
It's so good. It's a really fun show. It's really hard. It's like, if like you're someone who likes to like be a bit seedy and use a VPN and torrent things, can't find it anywhere. So I've been meaning to buy the DVD of it. So
how much is the DVD for it?
It's like $10.
That's it?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Do you think we're living in a simulation?
Only when things aren't going my way.
Tight.
That's a good answer.
What's
your least favorite game of all time?
Oh, I have an answer for this. Okay. People might hate me for this, but Witcher 2.
Really?
Yeah. I most miserable 20 hours or something playing through it.
How'd you feel about the third one?
I didn't play the third one because the second one turned me off so much. And it wasn't like, it wasn't the writing or anything. Like to me, it was just like the gameplay of it was just, it felt like everything. The way I explained it to my friends who are like, why didn't you like it? It's like, it feels like someone just, before you played, walked around with a stick of butter and rubbed it on every single surface, and every single thing you can interact with just rubbed butter all over everything. And then when you play, like, because it's so animation based, it doesn't feel good to me to play.
That's what I heard about the third one, is that you just kind of, it's like someone just mopped the floor.
Yeah.
And you're just like...
no, I think that's actually just the NPCs seeing Geralt walking around and just... You know?
I don't know, dude. I know nothing about the game. It's like Cyberpunk to me. Like, I don't want to play it because I know the community around it is just not the best.
Yeah, that's fair.
CD Projekt Red do that.
Undertale. What's up, Olive?
I mean, that's CD Projekt Red for you.
Oh, I didn't even realize they're the same studio. Yeah, okay. What's your favorite iced cream?
Good question. It's Superman ice cream.
Okay.
Which a lot of people haven't heard of. Have either of you heard of Superman ice cream? Yeah?
No, what is that?
You haven't heard of Superman ice cream, Olive? We grew up in a small town.
It's the best. My girlfriend just made a face like, what? You haven't heard of it? It's the best.
What's in it?
So it's a mixture of 3 flavors. It's Blue Moon, which is the blue ice cream. It's called Superman ice cream because it's blue, yellow, and red swirled all together. And it's Blue Moon. The yellow is vanilla typically, and the red is typically like black cherry. And just the combination of the
really
flavors
good.
is so good. It's like, whenever I tell people about it, especially like online, most people haven't heard of it because it's like mostly a Midwest thing. I think it's originally from Michigan.
Okay, that makes
sense.
sense.
It's not super
I'll have to ask my
common.
Michigan friend about it.
Oh, it's so good. So good.
You never had it, Olive? There was a place by me that had it. You know where the $2 Dollar Generals are by me back home?
Yeah.
The further one by the other elementary school?
Mm-hmm.
that place that served ice cream always had it. I'm surprised you never had that.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never had it.
What's your favorite game of all time? I feel like we kind of might have touched on
We
this
already
a little
kind
bit.
of touched on it.
Yeah.
My favorite game of all time is Kingdom Hearts, the original.
Kingdom Hearts, which one?
The first one. I think the second one is the best one, but I think the first one's my favorite, just because I have so much nostalgia for it.
Mm-hmm. Kyrie.
It's so good. It's like slowed down, so like you can hear the audio compression, like Kyrie. It's so good.
How was your day today? Oh, I'm sorry. Go on.
No, I was just gonna go on to Kingdom Hearts.
Do it. Fuck it up. I feel like we don't
tangent.
talk about your favorite games at all because Kingdom Hearts is another one of those games I just have no interest in.
My spicy hot take, which is I feel like a pretty popular opinion around Kingdom Hearts, is all of the good parts of Kingdom Hearts are just Final Fantasy, just a little bit airbrushed a little bit. Like all the interesting stuff with like Organization 13 in like Kingdom Hearts 2, like that's literally just Final Fantasy. Like Yoshi P, get in here.
I can see that. To me though, the best stuff isn't necessarily the stuff for me that resonates the most with Kingdom Hearts isn't like the actual plot or anything. It's just like the prevailing theme of just like, you know what? We got our friends. We're all here for each other. We're going to get through this together. We're going to be together in the end. And that's why
we have to defeat the darkness. Darkness.
Unlock the light in your heart and overcome the darkness. But no, I just love how everyone's there for each other. Yeah. It's so good. And that's the end of Kingdom Hearts 3 then just hit me so hard with like, because that's...
I never finished it.
Oh my God.
You like it?
I know I like it. I still haven't finished it.
Senor, you like it?
The end
you
of
like
it?
3?
Ooh.
No, you just like 3 in general?
I think 3 it's good. It's like, I could see why people hate it because it's so cheesy. It's such a hokey game. But it's I
I'm
enjoy
a sucker
it.
for cheesy.
Yeah, exactly. Me too. So I like it. And then
I just
the
haven't
ending
heard
of
many
it
good
just
things about it.
hit me so good.
Cool. Well, how was your day today?
It was good. It was good. Worked a lot and chilled a bit, and now here we are.
Cool. That was going to be the last question, but what's your top 5 albums of all time?
Okay, so I've been thinking about this a bit. So I don't know if I have an order.
Yeah, that's fine. Just
so
5 that are like your go-to.
Yeah. So one of them is Ballads 1 by Joji. That's a go-to for me.
Okay.
Then 2 other ones are both EPs, so they're only like 5 songs, but it's Change of Scenery by Quinn92 and Bloom by Quinn92.
Okay.
Let's see. I really like Color and Shape by Foo Fighters.
Okay.
And then I think maybe Blank Banshee Zero is like my go-to background music.
Wow, I haven't heard of Blank Banshee in a while.
Dude, wow. I haven't heard... Do you remember Simpson Wave?
Yeah.
Dude, every time I think... Okay, so I hear Blank Banshee and I automatically think of Teenage Pregnancy. And just that one fucking edit of Sunday School. I think it's called Sunday School, of Bart Simpson going to church and Marge being like, what is this? God damn. I wish Vaporwave stuck around a little longer.
Me too.
I mean,
you know
what I mean.
you can find stuff that has a lot of inspiration from Vaporwave. I have a couple of playlists I'm working on right now that are kind of like post Vaporwave, but like still actually kind of good.
All right, this is a follow-up question. How do you feel about Young Lean?
I'm not super familiar.
Okay.
I know the name, but I haven't really listened.
If you like Blank Banshee, I'm pretty sure Young Lean was like huge. Like when he was his biggest was around that time. I really credit Young Lean to a lot of people that are doing stuff today, like popular music wise. And he was just some dude from Sweden who liked pop music and just like invented cloud rap more or less. And like, cool. I don't feel like enough people will ever give him the credit he deserves.
Cool. I'll have to check him out.
That's the 20-something questions that I had. All right, so you're a fucking titan of speedrunning games. And I didn't
You're
realize
like good, bro.
Yeah, like I didn't realize
Thanks.
how big you were in speedrunning until we were just on the speedrunning page. And I realized that the what do you call it? The lowest thing that you are is because it's on fucking console.
Yeah.
Like I think the lowest you have that isn't on console is like 8. Like I didn't realize that you were that fucking like
Awesome.
Thank you. No, I think I credit it mostly to I'm a quick learner, and I had a lot of time in college. Well, not really, but I put a lot of time into it in college. Way too much time into it. Should have focused on my grades a bit more. But yeah, no, so a lot of time into it in college. So like developed those skills pretty soundly for all the Fallout games. And yeah, like whenever I want to run one of them, it's really easy to bounce back into them and just like refine with new strats. So
You really know how to mess with Todd's baby.
yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah. So
Like
especially New Vegas, even though that's not really Todd's baby. So
I was just trying to explain to somebody how to I can't remember the exact name of it when you like reload and jump.
reload dashing. Yeah.
Okay, that was close enough. Like I was trying to explain that and they're like, "Well, how do you do it?" And I was like, "I don't fucking like this." Like,
I don't know.
You hold W, you do 2 F2 up, enter or left enter. Tab. I think I might be forgetting. Left click tab, something like that. It's wild. But then
do you dream?
I'll
I'm
take your
sorry.
word for it.
I was gonna say the crazier thing than reload dashing is infinite dashing, which is the thing where you cripple your legs at the exact moment you do it, and then you can fly like a plane.
Huh.
Well, that I tried explaining too with speed cripple to somebody,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Well, how do you do it?" I'm like, "I don't fucking know. I just
speed
watched a guy on
cripple's,
YouTube do it."
Yeah.
I am so like impressed by the idea of punch warps. I just think they're crazy. Like I was watching your Fallout 4 speedrun earlier today, just like to like remember, and just I don't know. I'm just so impressed.
Yeah, punch warping is freaking awesome. It was found by one of my friends, Brongle, who found so much for Fallout 4 back in like early 2017 up through like mid 2019. And he kind of found punch warp. Like most glitches are found on accident that are used in speedruns, but just it was so crazy seeing it progress because it started off as something we were calling blitz warping, and that lasted all of 30 seconds before we like found out more about it. But it was because there's a perk in Fallout 4 called Blitz that increases. I think it's twofold what it does, but one of the main
Isn't
things
that strength 10?
I think so. It's down. It's for sure down there on the perk chart. It has a high requirement. But one of the main things it does is makes it so your VATS range is incredible for melee attacks. And he was messing around with the idea of using it as an alternative to running. He's like, maybe it will be faster if like there's like if you're running down an alleyway and there's an enemy at the end of it, you VATS attack them to get down the alley quicker than just running. So that's how it kind of started. And then like he was messing around and kind of got teleported one time and then just quickly figured out why and how it worked. And yeah, now you can just teleport all around the map by punching mines. It's amazing.
It's agility 9. I looked it up. Is there like when just say you buy a game, like say you get hyped up on like Tom Clancy's Rainbow Vegas 3.
Okay.
Like do you
One second. I'm getting myself in the mind space of getting hyped up on Tom Clancy's Rainbow Vegas 3. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay,
It's a casino heist game.
when you get the game in hand, like is your first thought like, okay, how am I gonna dismantle this? And it could be any game. I just use that as like a brand new example. Like, do you think like how do I take apart every single piece? Like you want to see the wiring, like because. I just want, I don't know, I don't really understand even what I'm asking. I guess what I'm saying is like, how do you find these things? Like, is it just like...
That's a good question. So I myself have never been one for finding things. When I get a good example is Outer Worlds. When that came out and when that was like building up, I was like, I'm going to be speed running this game. But like, I'm in no rush with stuff. My mentality with like, streaming and producing content around speedruns of stuff, even if it's a new thing, is I'll get to it when I get to it. I just want to enjoy the game at least for myself first, because I don't want to ruin a game by rushing through it. My first time playing through it. So when I go into stuff like that, like for new releases, I don't really try and break it apart and figure out how things work. But oftentimes, yeah, speedrunners will like just right away just oftentimes rush through the campaign as quickly as possible so they can see how to do stuff, like to actually progress the game, and then just kind of like ram their heads into walls over and over.
Get out into that messy little sandbox of code.
Yeah, exactly. So like it depends on the person for sure. Like, because like I said, I don't really find things myself. There's like several different ways you can be involved in speedrunning. You can be like just a runner, which is pretty much what I do. You can try and find glitches. You can try and route the actual runs, because there's a difference between finding things and routing things. There are people who
that's an exercise in like efficiency, right?
Exactly. So I really enjoy routing stuff as well. I like being given like all we know and then figuring out the fastest way to do it. But I am so bad at finding things. I've found in my 4 years of speedrunning, I found maybe a minute of time save at most across all of the games that I've speedrun.
Oh, wow.
Which is like nothing for someone who's as involved as I am and runs as much as I do. So,
well, who found the glitch for Cyberpunk, the sex glitch?
Which one?
I just watched the video a little while ago. It was like this run was an hour, now it's 11 minutes. Yeah,
so that was kind of rapid. It was like 2.5 hours one day, and then it got cut down to an hour. And it was, I don't know who exactly found it, but it was a combination of finding a way to, because originally you had to play through the entire intro, get to the title sequence, which takes a couple hours, and then you can go have sex. But it takes
forever.
Yeah. I was like 4 or 5 hours into that game casually before I got to the title card sequence, which is just absurd to think about. But I don't know who, but like it was someone found a way to get out of the intro sequence that just involved running along a monorail. I think that was the first way it was done. Maybe not, but like it was just like a bunch of random, like someone, we found out that if you equip your katana weird, you can spam it and fly, and like, we can implement that then, and like, so it's just like, it was just mostly people finding little fun things and then finding a way to implement it into whatever runs we were doing at the time. So
when it comes to an older game, do you find it better to do it on an emulator or the actual hardware?
If it's not hard to get your hands on, I myself am like I'm a very like physical collector type stuff with like old video games. Like I would like to have
Vince
a
is
copy
like that
of it.
too.
Yeah.
Cool.
But there's nothing wrong with emulating. Like not everyone has the means or disposable income to buy capture cards and like an NES and a cart of Super Mario World stuff like that. Like not everyone has the means and the income to do that. So like if like emulation's your only option, like I'm totally for that. I'm not, some people are kind of emulation purists, and like you'll see that in the YouTube comments of, he was like recently the Super Mario Brothers, the original, the world record was done on an emulator by someone playing with a keyboard. You just know that hundreds of comments on YouTube, especially on probably Facebook, of videos of it getting reposted, were probably, it's not on the original hardware, it doesn't count. So there are snobs like that, but it doesn't really matter. You do what like works best for you. So
is that the one? I think I might have seen that one. That's not the bot driven one, right?
No, this was like an actual person who just happened to play on keyboard.
Do they show the guy in the video?
I think he shows his inputs. I think he like has a keyboard cam in it.
Okay. There's like, you said that and it hit me with this like wave of 2009 YouTube where I remember watching this dude, and I don't remember if he was doing a speed run or if he had a bot set up, and at the end when Mario's supposed to jump on the flag, he misses it by like that much, or like does something where he like jumps off and misses it and jumps again. And every comment was just, we can shave this down by a second. Like it was like, and I was just like, oh my God, like who is trying to beat this game this quick? Yeah. And then turns out there's an entire, when did the speedrunning scene pop up?
Most people will trace it back to like the mid to late 90s with Doom demos. Or maybe it's Quake demos. Pretty much like the demos. Like originally the big speedrunning website originally, aside from like super niche stuff, was in the mid to late 2000s was Speed Demos Archives. And that comes from like the demo replays of finding the fastest way to play through like your old Doom and Quake games and stuff like that. So a lot of people credit that as being like the birth of speedrunning. Of course, like you have people who competed in like arcade score attacks and stuff like that. And with some games, like you get better scores for how fast you go. So that plays there. Some people will credit to like GoldenEye with being like the first one to actively promote the idea of trying to beat levels as quickly as possible, because you unlock new cheats and stuff every time you beat something like below a certain goal time. So some people credit GoldenEye as like kind of the birth of speedrunning. GoldenEye has one of the bigger speedrunning communities. They call themselves the Elite.
Wow.
So yeah, and they've been around since
to claim the title of the Elite is seems like a pretty big deal.
Yeah, it is. So I mean,
also, Vince, I can link you to a really good speedrunning history video if you want.
Yeah, I know Tommy's videos. My exposure to speedrunning is I used to work at a gas station, like of my personal life, other than your videos, is I used to work at a gas station, and it was the middle of the night, and we had to empty out the lottery machine every night at like 2 or 3 in the morning. And the kid I worked with, I was like, "Yo, you want to speed run this? You want to speed run this emptying the lottery machine?" And he unironically looked at me and he goes, "You want to do a glitchless?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah!" And we just did. Like, that's the only speedrun I've ever done. We never clocked it, but like I know virtually nothing about it. I'm very interested in it. Like I watched a Arkham City run, and it was like with glitches was like 13 minutes, if that. And I feel like I know that game inside and out, and to watch somebody like dive downwards, like clip in and around and like move, and all of a sudden Hugo Strange is here. I was like, what the fuck is happening? So I'm interested in it. Cool. It's neat. Yeah. Yeah.
I've actually got a question. So my first exposure to like speedrunning was speedrunning like Mario games, and I'm not a speedrunner because I'm bad at video games, but I do have a background in like creating video games, so I understand kind of the underlying technology a lot of the time. But my favorite speedrun that I've ever seen was a Breath of the Wild speedrun, and like I really like Nintendo speedruns. Do you have like, aside from Fallout, like what are some of your favorite, most like notorious speedruns?
So a lot of people kind of cock their head at me when I say this, but I don't really actually watch speedruns anymore. I just don't really get too into them nowadays. So the only speedruns I'll watch and get like really into are like Super Mario 64 and then like Wind Waker.
I like Sunshine speedruns.
Yeah. So I think that one's a cool one. I'd never have actually played Sunshine myself, so I can't really get into it. But that is a really cool speedrun to watch. But no, for me, it's like I'll watch Super Mario 64 runs and some like Wind Waker runs. And then if like one of my friends is streaming Fallout runs, I'll watch them just to support them. But I'm not a big speedrun watcher these days. So, but if I had to watch one, I'm super into this Super Mario 64 community.
Why do you think
really cool.
64 has such a big community around it for speedrunning?
Because that game broke, dude.
I think that a big thing that plays into it is just it's one of the most popular games of all time. And really, like, it doesn't matter how good or bad a game is to speedrun. If it's popular and people have a lot of nostalgia for it, they're going to speedrun it. And like a lot of times you'll see people, especially on like the speedrun Reddit, people be like, I'm a game dev. How do I make my game so more people will speedrun it? And the top comments pretty much every time is just make a good game. That's what you should focus on. Don't focus on catering to speedrunners. Don't make it with speedrunners in mind. If people like it, they're going to speedrun it. So you have like Super Mario 64 is a classic. And just so many people have so much nostalgia for it. And it has a good like toolkit for speedruns. So it's super popular. You have more modern games like Celeste and Mario Odyssey. Just like
Celeste is so good.
Yeah, like those are just super well received games. People are super passionate about them, and they also have good movement toolkits. So naturally, people speedrun them. So I think that it's the most important thing for someone speedrunning a game is the quality of the game.
How do you feel about the remake of Battle for Bikini Bottom having like speedrun tools built into it?
I think that it's cool that developers recognize it and they help make speedrunners' lives a little easier in a sense. Like in some ways, like the first time I ever saw that was kind of like once I was in speedrunning, where a developer kind of had speedrunners in mind was with Hat in Time. I'm sure that there were plenty of times beforehand, but that was the first time when I was actually in speedrunning and I saw it. They have a speedrun timer that you can turn on, which a lot of times when people think speedrun timers, they think you just start it and then it stops when you stop. But for PC games, we have to factor out the loading times because some people have super fast PCs. And if you're comparing a full run with loads of someone with a super fast PC to someone who runs on like a laptop, the person who can buy a better PC is going to have a big advantage, like regardless of how good their run is. So we we script the timer so that it pauses during loading screens, and Hat in Time had that built in. So it was cool to see that, but I'm sure there were plenty of times other than that. But I really like when devs acknowledge the speedrun community, and I know specifically with Battle for Bikini Bottom, I know the world record holder for the original game. His name's Shift, and he actually flew out to what's the name? Purple Lamp Studios is I think the people who made the Rehydrated.
Okay, cool.
They're in Amsterdam. They flew him out to play test their game, and like because no one knows the movement of the original game better than the speedrunners who play it for thousands of hours. So he was able to go in and feel it and say, hey, this feels a little off in this way. And like he gave them a bunch of notes for helping make the movement better. Like they're aware of the speedrun and some exploits, so they patched out a couple things that you couldn't do. But it's cool to see them, like devs, acknowledge the speedrun community in any way. A good example as well is for Titanfall 2, there was a skip in the middle of the run that used to be done one way, and one of the devs at Respawn contacted the community, or like hinted to the community like, hey, there might be a faster way to do that, and dropped a hint. And then they were able to find a faster way to do the skip because the developer saw and wanted to help out. So it's really cool whenever developers recognize the speedruns and recognize the communities behind them.
That's awesome.
The thing that I think is really interesting about speedrunners is that they're generally so dedicated to their craft, to their speedruns, that there's a lot of like high stakes, like emotion that's attached to it. And I think that building that connection and that community is something that's really, really cool about video games. Like you can't really like speed run a Picasso. But
I just wasn't trying hard enough, apparently.
Obviously I wasn't trying hard enough. But I just think it's just such an interesting community to see that speedrunning's like, even that it exists.
Yeah, it's wild, and it's such a good community too. Like, of course, every community is going to have their shitters, but by and large, the speedrunning community is so wholesome and just together. And it's so silly, you know, just playing a game more and more so you can play it less and less. It's such a silly notion, and but the fact that
it's
so
kind
many
of ass backwards.
Yeah, it is. But it just the fact that so many people get behind it and just find so much unity and common ground in it as something that's fun to do. Because like it's such a rush, like getting a new personal best or watching someone who's been grinding and grinding and grinding and see them finally have that breakthrough. Like a really recent past couple months, really recent example is a speedrunner named Simply just got he's been speedrunning Super Mario 64 for years, and he just got the world record for the first time, but in a big way.
Oh,
and
cool.
like he was like having a very emotional reaction on stream, and his parents came in and they were watching the stream and they were hugging him and they were super into it, and they were like saying it's an awesome clip if you look it up.
Is this the hippie dude?
Who, Simply himself?
Yeah.
Define hippie. Hippie in what way?
I remember briefly seeing a video about like this dude breaking a massive, I think it was 64 record, like just blowing this, like, and he came out of nowhere.
It could be him. If by hippie you mean shirtless, then probably he's shirtless often on stream. So, but no, that's a really like good wholesome clip that just kind of shows what the speedrunning community is all about. And like, we can't have the events because of COVID right now, but like Games Done Quick and ESA, which is European Speedrunners Assembly, like it's just like everyone
GDQ
getting
is
together.
Awesome.
Sorry?
GDQ is awesome.
Yeah, and it's just like watching the event and everything. It's just so cool to see all these people come together just for like over a shared hobby, even if like there's it's like still a varied community, because like Fallout speedruns are super different than like Mario speedruns and stuff, but like we have that common ground. We come together and raise a ton of money for charity. It's just such a awesome community. So
I wanted to ask you about that. I wanted to ask about like the process of applying for it, or do they ask you to come out? Like,
so the process for Games Done Quick, traditionally is, because I say traditionally because I know that there's been a couple exceptions behind the scenes, but typically it's so like the event will happen, and then after like a few weeks after each event, then a submission period opens up for about like 3 weeks or so, and that's when you record a run as if you were doing it for the marathon and submit it. Like you do commentary, and you submit it, and then pretty much they have this huge list of submitted games, thousands and thousands of submitted runs on their website. And then they have a game selection committee, and they go through and refine it down to the actual, they accept and decline runs. And then there are some runs that are chosen as a backup, but pretty much they have a committee that goes through and selects pretty much what all the runs are going to be for the event. And then they release the list, and then a few weeks later they release the schedule. So it's one of those things where you submit and just cross your fingers. So
cool. Okay.
What do you think? Okay. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you. I speak too much anyway.
What do you think of Minecraft speedruns?
I think that they're a really, really cool. I'm not a big Minecraft person. I'll say that up front. I played Minecraft barely in like 2013 or whatever on the 360, and I played it like for 2 weeks last summer. Still have no clue what's going on in it. I constantly drop things on accident whenever I play. So I'm not a Minecraft person, but I think it's a really cool example of a speed run where like the big things that play into it are like, yeah, your actual technical skill, but the big thing is your knowledge. Like it's one of those runs where if you're doing random seed, it's just so much based on your ability to think on your feet and just your knowledge of the game. And it's just a really cool example of
like you can really shave a lot of time off by just like keyboard shortcuts.
Exactly. And it's just like, just knowing of like, oh, I got this, like I found a chest with this. That means like, it's just like, it's so much thinking on your feet and improvising. And I think that that's I'm really glad that there are speedruns like that in our community that are so improvisational. So,
yeah. So I love Minecraft speedruns. Go ahead.
Without saying any names, do you think he cheated?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, definitely.
Oh, I'm so convinced.
Okay.
I'm a math guy. I studied engineering and math in college. They're like so astronomically, like, sure, like there's a small chance that he didn't, but so the odds are so astronomically low. It's so improbable that he didn't cheat.
So besides cheating, is there any like strat that's looked down upon?
Yeah. One big one is strat hoarding, which is where you find something and then refuse to tell the community, just maybe at all, or so that one is like pretty much frowned upon by everyone, is finding a strat and refusing to tell anyone, because some people are like that. Some people are really weird about it. The thing that's maybe a little less frowned upon is finding a strat, and if you're close to record, using it to snipe the record. That's a little more in the gray area. And I think a big factor in that is how long you hoard the strat for. Like if you find something and then right away you do a run without telling anyone and snipe it, it's like all within the span of a couple hours. That's one thing. It's another thing to find something, hoard it for months, grinding the record, and then do it. Because that's months of time that you've wasted for other people in the community who may have been doing
and you've practiced and practiced and practiced.
Yeah, exactly. So
I feel like all the tools should be distributed like democratically. That's just my personal take.
Yeah, and I think that's how most people see it, is like it's the goal of speedrunning for the most part isn't necessarily one person trying to drive down the time. It's a community trying to drive down the time. It's like a team effort. Like people aren't out there searching for glitches for necessarily just them to use. They're out there searching for glitches for everyone to use. It's just people love the games and they want to destroy them. So they, as a community, are just trying to do that as a group. So,
do you remember the first time you encountered a glitch? Like not with a speedrun, but does anything like stick out in your mind?
Yes, and I was actually thinking of it yesterday.
Oh wow!
I was thinking of it yesterday because it's in the video game version of Peter Jackson's King Kong. And I was listening to a podcast talking about that movie, and like I was just thinking about it, and it was because I was stuck for so long. I had it on the GameCube. I loved the game, but there was a part specifically where you had to like burn down you had to kill these like flying bat type things. And then you had to burn down the bushes to progress. And for some reason, I just couldn't burn down. The bushes wouldn't burn. And I was just stuck there. And it was only a couple years later when I started a new game that I was able to like beat it, because the bushes just wouldn't burn down for some reason. My game was just bugged. So that's the first time I ever experienced a glitch that I can remember. And it was infuriating because I was so far in the game. I thought I was far in the game, at least.
Cool. You're like the third person I've ever heard talk about that game.
Oh, it's a blast from the past.
Yeah, I never got to the Kong part. I couldn't get it. I was very young when I first had it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean,
no clue how it holds up, but I had a good time with it.
Do you know of a game called I Ninja? Speaking of games we grew up with.
I'm familiar with the name. I don't know about the actual game.
All right, it's by Argonaut, I believe, back in the day. I don't think they're around anymore, and it was voiced by Billy West. Like it was just a game that, like, I saw a commercial for once, and I remember being like 7 and telling my parents like, I want that game, and then I never saw anybody talk about it, like nothing. I just want to know if you knew anything about it, because I want to know if there's any speed runs for it, because I remember that game taking me what felt like a decade to beat. Just because I was so young when I had it. Is there any game that doesn't have one? Can you speedrun Tetris?
Most people can find a way to create speedrun where speedruns don't exist.
Yeah.
With any game.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Like, there are speedruns of Tetris, so...
It's kind of like betting on the coin toss of the Super Bowl. Like, you can find a way to game it.
Yeah. And, like, to me, the question, are there any games without speedruns, is kind of like, what is it, like Rule 34, if it exists, there's porn of it, then Rule 35, if there isn't, then there will be porn of it. So for me, it's like Rule 35 is like how speedruns work. If there isn't a speedrun, there will be a speedrun of it.
What games are you going to speedrun next?
Ooh.
What are you going to tackle?
Good question. Right now, I just streamed on a couple nights ago. I'm doing Fallout 3 runs for a category to eat a baby.
About that.
Yes!
We were literally just talking about that. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We were just talking about that.
Cool.
I personally would eat the baby. Vince would not.
Yeah, so it's speedrun to eat a baby, because if any listeners are unaware, there's one baby in all of Fallout 3, and it's in the Pit DLC, and there is a mod available that makes it so at the end of the quest line, you can either save, like normally you save the baby and kidnap it, or you leave the baby, but it adds the option if you have the cannibal perk to eat the baby, which makes you immune to rads. It was like just a joke mod. And like
we were talking about this, I think last week or the week before.
Well, actually twice, because we lost the episode.
Yeah. We just did our lore series on the Pit and on Ishmael Asher last week. So
nice. That's
funny
coincidence
that you bring that up.
I need to know more about this now, because this, like, next time I play Fallout 3, I have to eat this child. Like, what is the strategy, like, in so many words, of getting to the
what's
pit?
the route for eat the baby?
So, right away, it's actually really interesting. It uses a glitch that isn't used in any other Fallout 3. It's a glitch in Fallout 3 New Vegas, and it's not used in any other speedrun for it. So it's cool that there's actually, like, technically, you have to use a mod to do the speedrun, and by default, if you use a mod in your speedruns for the Fallout community, your run's invalid. So, like, it's a bit of a gray area. Like, it's not going to be an actual category, but it's like a fun meme run. But still, it uses a glitch that other runs don't use, which I'll get to in a second. But you escape from the vault right away. You have to make sure to do
as a baby.
No, we don't do it as a baby.
Oh,
you have to make sure
baby on baby.
Yeah. So if you exit the vault early, either as a baby or a 10-year-old or like 16-year-old, however old you are before the final sequence, then you can't level up. And like you do level up and you get the health increase, but you can't take perks and assign skills, like your skill points. And you need to be able to get perks for this run to work, because you need the cannibal perk.
Because you need the cannibal perk.
Yeah. So you exit the vaults like in the way that you do it in the all quest speedruns, where you complete the quest escape, which means you level up when you exit. Which means you can level up in general. And then right away we do speed cripple, which we mentioned earlier. If anyone listening is unaware, it's a way to increase your movement speed from about 100 units to about 160 units by breaking your legs and loading at the same time. And it's really, really finicky, really fickle glitch, really annoying. And then after that, you run to the pit, or you run to meet, I believe his name's Werner. And the thing is though, because it's my category, I came up with it. I came up with a bunch of arbitrary rules that I wrote on the back of this business card for a local dispensary. So things that are required in the category that have nothing to do with the actual run is one thing: you have to punch Butch when you're in the vault. So that's required for the run to be valid by my book. And then rather than making a straight beeline to Werner, you have to go and grab the alien blaster. That's part of the category as well. And you also have to teabag the alien while you're grabbing the blaster. That's another one of the rules. Then you go to meet Werner and you kill the raiders by him, and then you go to the pit. You fast travel there, and then you run over, I believe it's one of the bridges there. I don't know if it's specifically the Roberto Clemente bridge, but when you're running over it, there's a bunch of mines and bear traps, and you specifically have to disarm the first mine and the last bear trap on the bridge. If you don't do that, the run is invalid. And then you go and you talk with Medea real quick. Then you so in order for you to eat the baby, you have to get the quest stage of the final quest to a certain spot. So you have to do the actual quest. So there's really only 3 quests that you have to do. The first one is you have to collect a bunch of steel ingots. So you go do that.
Wait, do you have to collect all of them? Do you have to get all the ingots
10.
for the run?
You have to collect 10.
Oh.
So
Okay.
You collect 10 ingots real quick. You fast travel, talk with Medea twice, and then you go and do the arena, and we have the alien blaster for it. So you clear out the arena, and then that leads to where level skipping comes into play. When you finish the arena for the last time, you level up, which is good. So you need level 12 to get Cannibal, and at this point we're only turning up to level 3, which isn't very much. That's 3 and 12. They are not. They are unequivocal. So what you have to do then is level skipping, which is where when you level up, there's the little text that says level up that pops up in the bottom right corner. And as that's fading out, you enter a door to another room. And you have to make sure that you have save on travel turned on. So it makes an auto save whenever you enter a new room. And when you load in, then it'll say like level 3 or whatever. And then you load the autosave, turn around, and then when level up fades away, you enter the room again. And then it'll put you at level 4. And you can do that back and forth until you hit level 12. So the upside to that is that it's called level skipping for a reason. You aren't actually getting the perks from leveling up. You only get the perk from like when you decide to actually go through with the level up, which is what we do at level 12. You don't get to assign skill points for each level. You skip it every time. The only thing that you get the benefit of for doing all the different levels is you get the health increase from them. So we do that to get to level 12 quickly. And then we take the Cannibal perk. And then after that, we're pretty much set to go and meet Baby Marie. And that leads us to the final rule. When you get to Haven outside, there's a big statue and a bridge that leads under its legs. So one of the rules is you have to walk over the bridge, but you can't walk under the legs of the statue. After you cross the bridge, you have to go around the statue. Because where I went to college, there was a big statue on campus, and it was bad luck to walk under the legs. So I keep that in my daily life whenever I see big statues with that you can walk under the legs of. So I made that a rule for the category as well. You can't walk, you have to go over the bridge, but not under the legs. So then after that, you can go inside. You don't talk to Werner. You just go up and talk to, I believe it's Asher, and you progress the quest, and then you can eat Baby Marie.
I have to tell you how surreal that was to listen to you do that in real time. I feel like I just watched a YouTube video.
I am like reeling from that, and I can't wait to see it. Are you going to do this on stream?
Yeah. I don't stream often because I'm a pretty busy person. So when I do stream, I'll be doing that. As of this right now, when we're recording, tomorrow I'll be streaming it. Not sure if I'll be streaming it past that because I want to get this video done. because I take my time. I take my damn time for things.
You take your time with speedruns?
Yeah, exactly. I like to do them nice and slow.
And they're labor of love, so.
Yeah. So like recording commentary and writing the script and stuff, that takes me a bit. And then after that, my plans are to do speedruns of Fallout 4 VR.
Oh, cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I like Fallout 4 VR a lot. I think it's a pretty decent VR port.
Yeah. So we're going to do that, and hopefully it's watchable. Because
that first like what should be 10 minutes in Fallout VR, I must have got exploded 50 times because Olive had a VR headset, and I was just like, I want to look at everything pre-war for like an hour and a half. So like the doorbell's going crazy. Codsworth is trying to talk to me. I'm like, I want to look at this Grognak book. But that's awesome. That's fucking. Yeah. Did you do it? You've done it already? You've already recorded the baby eating?
So I've done like 2-3 full runs of it. So that's why I'm streaming again tomorrow, is I need to get a run that's more to my standards. So, I streamed like a couple days ago, figuring out the route, just kind of getting comfortable with it, making all the rules. So,
on the back of
now
the
that we have all the rules set and I'm comfortable with it, tomorrow will probably be the day that I get a run that I'm comfortable with putting out and do a YouTube video, because it's a meme run and it's not like for Fallout 4. I'm really like into the runs, and I want to make sure I get a good run when I make a video for it. But it's like a meme run that I'm the only one who's probably going to ever do runs for. And it's not for Fallout 4, so I don't not going to put a ton of time into it when I could spend that time working on actual videos.
If you don't mind sharing, what's your current PB for Eat the Baby?
I think it's like 20 minutes, 25 seconds. I'll let you know in a second.
That's not bad.
No, I think I could shave it down by about another minute. 2029. So I think I can shave it by about a minute.
I bet you can get sub 18.
Sub 18, that would be tough. That'd be stretching it. Maybe. But I think, yeah, we'll see. Maybe, because my PB has a good amount of mistakes. I'm probably going to aim for like a low 19 and call it a day there. So, yeah. It's a funny run, especially when you have to teabag the alien. It's required. If you don't, the run is invalid.
Do you ever get to use the blaster or no?
Yeah, that's the weapon. So the reason why you have to get the blaster is because originally the route was like pretty much like a recreation of what the Pit DLC speedrun is, where you go and like you pick up a Chinese assault pistol from one of the raiders that Werner's killing, and you use that, and then later you use an assault rifle. It's like... And I like grabbed, when I was streaming, I grabbed the Chinese pistol and I tried killing the dude and I ran out of bullets right away. And then I just had to punch him. I'm like, this sucks. And one of my friends was like, dude, just go get the blaster. It's like it's a small detour. So it's like, you know what? Blasters are required. You have to get the blaster for this run to be valid.
That's awesome.
It works for having the little pit fight ring.
Oh, it's so fast with the blaster. It's stupid.
I feel like this is a dumb question, but do you use VATS in the speedrun?
For Fallout 3 in New Vegas, not really, no.
I didn't think so. I was trying to
you just kind of like pray that it doesn't zip around like, you know how it does in those games. It doesn't go straight.
Cool. We're just about at the end here, but the most cliche of all questions, someone who wants to try speedrunning for the first time, what would you tell them?
Don't get discouraged. Be patient. Those are the two big things. You have to have perseverance and you have to have patience. You're going to make mistakes. Your runs are going to suck at first. They really are. Everyone is there. Everyone, like, it's one of those things where I like to liken it to like playing a guitar. Like you see someone playing a guitar and it's like, man, I'd like to do that. And then you pick it up yourself and you strum and it sounds awful. And you're like, man, I will never be able to play like that dude I saw on Venice Beach. It's like, well, no, because that dude's been playing for over a decade. You're comparing yourself to someone who's practiced a ton. Like you shouldn't. A lot of people will do their first run and look at the difference in time between their time and the world record and be like, man, I'm so bad. And they get discouraged. It's like, no, everyone starts there. You have to be patient. You have to look at your runs that die like due to mistakes. Don't look at them as a, man, that was a lost personal best chance. Look at it as a learning experience. Look at what you did wrong. Try and figure out what went wrong, why it went wrong, and what you can do next time to try and remediate that. Like look at each lost run as a learning experience. Try and be patient with it. And if you change the mentality behind losing a personal best pace run or a world record pace run from losing that opportunity to like a new opportunity to learn and make future attempts better, it makes it like a much healthier mental space to be when doing speedruns. And like one thing that I always say on stream, like last summer I did a really big Fallout 4 any% grind, and I lost a lot of really good pace runs, and everyone in chat would always be really down, like, oh, that, like, we lost it, that's awful, that sucks. And I'd be like, no, it's like there's gonna be better runs. Like that was by no means the best run that will ever exist. Like, it's nothing to get down about, because one day I'll have a time better and a pace better than that run was. So just have to try and change your perspective on it, and not think of it negatively. Look at it as a learning experience, and be patient with yourself.
So you saying that made me think of another question. I'm sorry to do this to you.
I also have a follow-up.
No worries, no worries.
What is the video and or run, even if it's not documented, that you're proudest of?
Good question.
Thank you.
The run of mine own that I'm most proud of is probably
That NBA one, right?
Yeah, my NBA Street Volume 2 run that I did once. That one. But a close second, I would say, is probably my Fallout 4 any% run.
Okay.
It's a beautiful run.
Thank you. Also, my Anthology personal best. At the time, that was a really solid record. Nowadays, I think that it's a pretty free run, a pretty free record for someone who's familiar with all the games, because so much has been found. There's so much free time saved there from just new strats. So at the time, that was a really solid record. So I'm pretty proud of that run. Video as a whole, I really like how my Fallout 4 any% speedrun explained video turned out with my newest PB. And then also my newest video, my Titanfall 2 speedrun explained that I made with my friend Brian Otto, I'm super proud of. So
Cool.
Yeah. So I've got one more question. When one of your runs gets unseated as the top, what goes through your head?
It depends how it happens. Because
being the best is like intoxicating.
It is, and you have to try and curb your ego big time. I was going to make a joke of like, I wouldn't know what it feels like, but I do know what it feels like. No, it's like, I would say it depends how it happens. I would say more often than not, it feels good. Like if you look at speedrunning how I described earlier, like more of a positive thing than a negative thing in terms of the experience of grinding out stuff. It's a positive experience. Like someone else like got to experience the thrill of it, and it's just a sign that the community as a whole has driven the time down lower. So I find that to be the positive mental health spin on it.
And it's an opportunity to throw hands and unseat them.
Free content. Exactly. So yeah, I would say like, of course there is parts of you inside that like, it's like, oh, come on. You know, there are parts inside like that's in human nature, you know, everyone has an ego to some extent. So to have like your world record taken from you, like it's only human to like have somewhere deep down inside where you're like, man, fuck you.
What hurts more, a time beaten by seconds or minutes?
Yeah, like
okay.
Like if it's beaten by seconds, to me, I would find that harder to take than minutes. Because with minutes, that either means one, the person really fucking deserves it. If with all the same strats, they blew your time out of water, they really deserve that.
Or they're using a new strat that you can then use in your run.
Exactly. So that's why I would feel better about being beaten by minutes. If it's like, regardless, like at the end of the day, if someone takes your record from you, they put in the work for that, and they deserve the time in the spotlight as well. So yeah, it's like I said, it's only human though. Everyone's gonna feel that reaction somewhere, as much as everyone wants to say they don't. Somewhere deep down, you have some sort of reaction that's negative, like unhealthy in some sort of way, driven by your ego. But by and large, for me at least, it's like I try and put the positive spin on it. It's good for the community as a whole that there's not only a new record, but by a new person as well. It's nice to see a bit of diversity at the top.
That's awesome.
Cool. That's everything. I know as soon as we stop recording, I'm going to have 6 more things to ask. But would you like to plug yourself, sir?
Google Tomatoanus, and I'll show up for whatever social media platform. The only one that I don't have Tomatoanus on are Instagram. I'm tomato.anus. And then I always have to put this out there. On Reddit, I don't have the username Tomatoanus. Somehow someone thought of the name before me on Reddit, and they took it and they commented once ever on a porn picture of someone wearing like a cow mask and says, "You got beef." And the idea of someone with they haven't used it ever since. So the idea that someone like on Reddit be like, "Oh, Tomatoanus, I wonder if they have a Reddit account," and they look it up and they see the only thing is from like 2012 of someone commenting, "You got beef" or "got milk" or whatever on the porn of someone wearing a cow mask, and thinking it's me just hurts my core. It just
you never
hurts
told
me
us
deep down inside.
You never told us the story behind the name.
Oh, do you want to know?
Yeah, dude.
Okay. So
if you don't have to tell it. If it's a secret,
You don't have to tell it. Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I'll tell you. So this was, I think, 6th or 7th grade. It was my friend's birthday, and he has a June birthday. So
every good story starts like this.
so we go to his house and we're playing lots of lawn games. We're doing the thing where you put the spoon with the egg and you walk with it, and you don't. We're doing that. We're doing I'm trying to think of other things. The big one though was the water balloon toss.
Hell yeah!
Where you have a partner or whatever, and
men were made.
Yeah. So my friend's mom thought it would be funny to prank him by like they were like, "Oh, like it's my son. I don't care if I ruin his swim trunks. I'll just buy him a new one." So her thought that was funny was to fill a red balloon with red paint and then hit him with it. So she threw it and missed and hit me right in the butt. And the red paint exploded all over my swim trunks, and it looked like my swim trunks were kind of green, so it looked like it was a tomato from the big red splatter and the green on the outside. People were like, it was a tomato butt, Tomatoanus. So yeah.
Wow. Did people refer to you as that before speedrunning?
Yeah, jokingly.
Wow, that's awesome. That's
That's
fucking
so
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah.
It was only when I was like 17, 18 that I thought to use it as a username on things.
That's super tight.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well,
It's got a great ring to it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blessed that my friend's mom hit me in the ass.
Thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so
Thank you for
much.
having me. Awesome. It was awesome.
I feel like I've learned a lot.
So I've got a recommendation or a request.
Sure.
I would like to speedrun this outro, glitchless any percent. Do you think the mods will take our run?
Let's hope. You ready?
All right. Yep. Timer goes up on Shane Ivers.
So yeah, go.
So if you want to get our intro music, you can get it. It's called Feather Duster. You can get it at www.silvermansounds.com/freemusic/featherduster. Vince, tell us about social media.
If you'd like to follow us, you can find us on social media in the links below. There's a link to my Twitter, also Twitter, the show's Twitter. There's also a link to our Discord. Thank you to the Discord. Join. That's how we recorded this episode with Senior Anus. And while you're there, if you can click on our Patreon, thank you to our patrons. We have to thank them real quick, and we will do that in just a moment. Because of them, we can do shows like this.
We have Noah.
Noah, thank you, Noah.
Shit. Danny. We lost Danny.
Thank you, Danny.
Marcus.
Thank you, Marcus.
Bones Jones.
Thank you, Bones Jones.
That's it.
Yes. So check out our Redbubble. You can find us anywhere that you could download a podcast, and we're also on YouTube. Make sure to give us a 5-star. Subscribe. Make a response video. Something. Just tell all that you look pretty today. Something, please. Just leave us a comment or a thumbs up.
Atomic Radio Hour podcast. Bam.
Yeah, Goldman. No, but seriously, we should try to submit that to the speedrun website. No, seriously, thank you to everybody. Thank you to the Patreons. This has been a fun episode. Thank you for everything. I love you all.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. It's been a pleasure as always. Atomic Radio Hour podcast. A Ghoulman Entertainment production.